Hi, today we will see new 7 management tools. Uh, in addition to 7 basic quality of the tools, um, the 7 management tools are also widely used in the managers for the quality management. The 7 basic quality tools are mostly useful for the quantitative problems, whereas a new 7 management tools are defined the qualitative problems. The qualitative, also known as the 7 management and planning tools, are helpful for the managers to organize the large and non-quantitative data, to create the hypothesis, to clarify the relationship to the establish the priorities. New 7 management tools. There is the 7 management tools are affinity diagram, relationship diagram, T diagram, matrix data analysis, decision tree, arrow diagram. So these are all the 7 management tool. In that affinity diagram, what is that affinity diagram? To collect the data, um, a large amount of the verbal expressions, ideas, opinions, and observation, etc., and organize them in groups according to the natural relationships between the individual items. The affinity diagram is related to the KG diagram. The affinity diagram is a special kind of brainstorming tool. What do we use it? The affinity diagram is used to provide the representation of the large amount of idea to determine the logical priorities, the exact amount of useful informations, um, scattered data and the unrelated data, to understand the organize the problems that are not clear, to create new concepts. How do we construct it? Define the problems and generate the ideas, record the ideas on boards, then display the cards in the random order, arrange the cards in grouping, create the headers for grouping, draw the affinity diagram. So this is the affinity diagram we have to draw. Then relationship diagram. What is it relationship? The relationship diagram is a tool for finding the causes to the problems. The basic logic behind the tool is the same as those of the cause and effect diagram. The relationship diagram is not only clarifies the relationship between the cause and effect but also between the various causes. It is the graphical representation of all factors is complicated problems and systems of situations. When do we do it? The purpose of relationship diagram, generally the visual representation relationship between the effect and it causes, well as the interrelationship between the different causes of the problems. The tool can be used. Identify the key problems from the list of the important problems. To identify the root cause existing the problems, identify the key factors needed to make the decisions. How do we construct it? The identify and decide the effect of the problems, the center of the board and enclosed in the dark bordered rectangle. Then they conduct the brainstorming, identify the immediate causes and effect, note down their causes in rectangle around the center of the dark rectangle, connect these immediate cause to effect by the connecting the rectangle of the causes to the effect of the line as arrow pointing towards the effect. The element of the rectangle, most outgoing arrows will be indicate the root causes. Those one of the most arrows will be keys the customer or results. Tree diagram. What is it? The tree diagram is systematically break down the topic of its important elements and shows the logical and sequential links between the element. The tree diagram is systematically outlines and complete of the paths and tasks the must be carried out to achieve the goals. When do we use it? The purpose of the tree diagram is to explore the ways of the means to achieve the objective of the develop the a list of the alternative means to present a visual understandable form. It helps to develop the systematic and step by step strategy to achieve an objective. How do we construct it? Then, first state the problems to be studied, brainstorm to be made, identify and primary and secondary, arrange rearrange the elements in proper boxes. So this we have to make it. What is that matrix diagram? The matrix diagram is used to systematically organize the informations that must be compared on the variety of the characters in order to make the comparisons and selections of or the choice. It is the tool depicts a relationship between the two or three, four sets of factors in the form of the table and matrix. Matrix diagram is sometimes referred as the quality table. When do we use it? The matrix diagrams can be show the relationship between individual items into sets of factors. For example, the diagrams can be used to understand the relationship between the customer and customer satisfaction, product characteristics between the compliance and the product groups, between the geographical regions, between the product's performance. The steps for drafting the matrix diagram. The main factors in the left hand side of the matrix will depend upon the factor, the main body of the matrix. The matrix data analysis diagram. What is it? The matrix data analysis diagram is a very simpler to make matrix diagrams with the difference and numerical data is used to, instead of a symbol and indicating the existence and strength and relationships. It is only among the 7 management tools uses the numerical data produces the numerical results. When do we use it? The purpose of the matrix data analysis diagram is to present the numerical data about the two sets of factors in matrix in the form of the analysis to get the numerical output. The tool is used the principal component analysis where only the two characteristics can be studied. The tool is advantageous studying the parameters of the production process, in analyzing the market information, in finding the links between the numerical and non-numerical variables, and so on. And the process of decision program of chart or decision tree. What is a process of diagram of chart is known as the decision tree. Is planning tool to outline of every conceivable and likely the occurrence in any planning. The PDPC is poses to protect the thinking and wrong with one's plans and what would one do to overcome the effect of such adverse occurrence. In the other words, these tools anticipate the undesirable occurrences and enables the one prepared with plans to neutralize their effect. When do we use it? The PDPC is useful when one wants to plan all the possible chains of events might be occur during the projects. The tool is particularly used for the new product development, building and equipment and data processing programs. The tool is widely used for the decision making when the task is new, the complex, and unique. How do we construct it? First, prepare the normal flow chart of the process with all expected events and steps in the charts. Identify the various possibilities in the process not going as per the plans due to the abnormal occurrence. Write these occurrence on the flow chart and branching the to appropriate locations to identify the ways, the means of the counter effect of the abnormal occurrences. Write these counter measures in rectangle connecting the corresponding abnormal occurrences. So, this we have to made. What is the PERT diagram and CPM diagram? When do we use it? They show the parts of the complete project to find the shortest time of the project, display the graphically and simultaneous activities. First, how do we construct? Identify that each activity is done on the project, determine the sequence of the activities, conduct the network of reflecting the presence of the relationships when the activities under the arrow leading from it. The activities can be clarified in the post PERT and matrix, the CPM diagram. The statistics deals with the collection of tabulation, analysis, and interpretation, presentation, and quantitative data. The major function of the statistical analysis reducing the complexity of the situations, and statistical data presents the information and provides a definite form. For example, the statistical information is often presented in the form of graphs and charts and tables, the annual reports of an industries, making a comparisons in drawing conclusion. The statistical analysis helps in comparing the two or more regard the variability common different characteristics. For the example, comparing the sales of the volume and turnover to Euro, Honda, Bajaj, and automobile industries. Estimating and predicting the statistical analysis helps in estimating some unknown quantity and also studying the relationship between the variables data. For example, give the sales data for the past years. One can estimate the sales for the next year. Decision making, the statistical analysis is making the many managerial decisions. The applications, the statistical techniques are applicable in all situations where the qualification is possible. In the statistical analysis is indispensable practically every field that exists. For the example, the engineering, commerce, industries, and trade, and economics, life sciences, and each sciences of physical sciences, medical sciences, and statistical techniques. Type of the data, attribute data, and variable data. The data obtained by the containing counting or discrete obtain the actual measurement of the continuous data. In other words, the qualitative data is attributes and those the characteristics often that can be quantified, the measurable or known variable. Attributes, the number of the effective pieces around the sample, the percentage accurate invoices weekly, number accident and in the factory, the number of parcels and number of complaints makes per week, the monthly, and the tool is rejected, the percentage on time shipments, errors per thousands lines of code, percentage of absenteeism, the variable, the dimensions is a part of the measure, the temperature during the heat treatment, the tensile strength of the steel bar, the time waiting for the service, the hours per week connecting the documents, time, process, travel, expense accounts, days from the order receipt to shipment, cost of the engineering changes per month, time between the system crashes, cost, rush, the shipments, accuracy and version versus precision. The accuracy of the data measuring the instrument refers the degree of the conformity observations such that an average target value is realized. Precision of the data measuring the instrument refers the degree of variability of the observation. The accuracy is measured, whereas the precision is measured of spread. Analogy: the objective of the target will SI, and that the marksman who precise is accurate. Each shot near the bull's SI. The, the difference between the successive shots is shot is small. The marksman is precise. In the shows the marksman is accurate but not precise. If we average all his shots, the average would be close to bull's eye. However, the difference shots is very large. The marksman is precise but not accurate. His average shot bull's eye. However, the difference between the consecutive shots is very low. The examples of the marksman neither accurate nor precise, telling the shot end up the is the bullseye. The difference of the shots is very large. Collection of data. The collecting of data contributes the point of any statistical investigation. The statistical can be obtained three important sources: the primary, secondary, and internal. The use of the either of all of these depend upon the nature and scope required. The classification of data, the data classification, the observation according to some division into the classes, the groups, the tabular presentation data, statistical table. The cross classification of the data is used for summarizing, condensation, and presentation of the data in meaningful fashion. The frequency distribution, the most of the form of the tabulation, single characteristics is used for the frequency distribution data to make useful influences. The raw data is classified properly. The frequency distribution is a rearrangement of raw data, ascending or descending of the magnitude. The quality is characteristics is subdivided into the classes, and the number of occurrence in each class is presented. Then the graphical presentation of the frequency distribution. Convenient way of representing the simple frequency distribution is by means of graphs. It gives the eyes of the general run of the observations. It makes raw data readily readable. The histogram, frequency, polygon, frequency curve, cumulative frequency curve. The histogram is a bar chart showing the distribution of variable quantities or characteristics. The frequency polygon and the frequency curve. The frequency polygon is obtained by plotting the midpoints of the classes against the class frequency and then joining these plotted points in a straight line. Measures of the cumulative frequency curves. The cumulative frequency curve also the who give obtained by plotting the upper class and against the legend. The cumulative frequency is known as the legend augusive, and the more than augusive is the plotting more than cumulative frequency against the lower class of the limits. An ogive is enabled to see how many observation is to be above and below the specific value. The comparison of frequency distribution in statistical work is frequently necessary to compare the two frequency distribution and then measure the central tendency and measure the depressions and measures of skewness. Measures of central tendency. The introduction of central tendency of distribution is a numerical value of describes the central position of the data, mean, median, mode. The mean is defined as the variable which has the equal number of the observation on the either side. The variable is arranged in order to magnitude and ascending or descending. The mean divides the distribution into equal parts. If the data contains the odd numbers of the item, the median is the middle item of the array. If there is even number of the items, arithmetic means of the two middle numbers, then the mode is the most commonly occurring the value. The mode is defined as the value of variable occurs the most frequently. An example, the value of the maximum frequency. In the other word, the value varied occurs of the numbers of the time than the order. A series in numbers are referred unimodal. It is a mode, and bimodal. It has a two modes, multimodal. The comparisons of the measures central tendency of the various measures of the central tendency. The mean is the most commonly used. The mean is used when the distribution is symmetrical and when the additional statistics are to be calculated based on the mean. The measures of depressions and precision, the measures of central tendency of the central distribution, but they do not have the individual observation spread on the either side of the center. The spread observation is of the center is known as dispersion. The three measures of dispersion is generally used for the range, mean deviation, and standard deviation. What is that range? The range is defined as the difference between the highest and lowest observations. This is the major problems of the range. The value depends upon the observation of the sample. Range increases the sample size, then that is also increases mean deviation. The mean deviation is the mean absolute differences of the value from the mean, median, mode. The standard deviation, the most important and the powerful measures the depression is the standard deviation. The standard deviation is a measure of the spread of the data. The standard deviation is computed as the square root of mean of the squares of the difference variance of the values from the mean. The comparisons and dispersion. The range provides the knowledge of the total spread data. It is used when the amount of the data is too small and too scattered. As the number of the observation is increases, the range decreases. The standard deviation is used when the number of the observation is more. Then when more precise measure is desired, the standard deviation also helps to define the populations. The populations versus the sample. The population is inverse. The statistics is used to refer my collections of the individuals and of their attributes results of the operations. The populations of the inverse. The population is defined as the unknown pattern of the variations from the known sample has been drawn. Types of population. The population is containing the finite number of the individual members called the finite population. For example, the population of the ages of 40 students in the class. The population with infinite number of the numbers is known as the infinite populations. The population presses the various points of the atmosphere. In example on this type of population, the population of the concentrate individual, the existent population the collection of all possible ways in which an event materializes is called as hypothetical population. For example, population of heads and tails obtained by tossing coin infinite number of the times is hypothetical population. Simple unsampling apart from the small selections of the populations is called the sample, and the process of the such selection is called the sampling. The sample is selected through the reassemble to present the entire population. The sampling is necessary when it is possible to measure the entire population. When the expenses is to observe all the data is too costly, when the record inspection destroys the product, when the test of the entire population may be too dangerous, and the sampling techniques, the most commonly used for the sampling techniques approaches are simple random sampling. The every items in the population has an equal probability of being selected. Stratified sampling. The population partitions into the groups and strata, and a simple selector for the each stratum. Systematic sampling. Every nth term is selected. The cluster sampling. The typical group of the is selected random, and the sample taken within the group. The judgment sampling. Expert opinion is used to determine the location of the characteristics undefinable the sample group. The statics of the parameter. The static is the numerical data. The measurement is taken from the sample may be used to make the inference about the population. When the average standard deviation and the other measures are computed from the sample's statistics parameter is true, the population the value is often known as the estimated static. The parameter is often unknown. The inexpensive the measure of it is directly used for the parameter. Statistics and parameter. The numerical measurement is taken for the sample. It refers to the population value measured directly. Statistics. The parameter is not measured directly, estimated through the statistics. Normal value, the SPC. The normal value is the most important frequency curve. Normal curve is also known as the Gaussian curve, the probability curve. The normal curve is a systematical unimodal bell-shaped distribution. Why the normal distribution? Much of the variations in the nature of the industries follows the normal frequency distribution. Such distribution occurs when there is a concentration of observations above the average. It is equally likely that the observation will occur above and below the average, though there are the other distributions such as exponential, Weibull and Poisson, and the rectangular to deficit the characteristics in the industrial products. The normal distribution is predominantly used for the most industrial application because of the normal distribution describe the variations of the quality the characteristics in industries more correctly than the other distributions. For the same reason, the normal distribution, the normal curve used. The area under the normal distribution curve, the greatest usefulness in the formal curve is lies the relationship is obtained from the knowledge in the curve lying between the certain limits of the baseline. The relationship among the mean and deviation curves, the curves of the difference values of but identical standard deviations, it can be seen only the change of the equations. Control charts. Before describing control charts, the appropriate have knowledge of process variations. One of the axioms and prisms of manufacturing is that two objects are ever made exactly alike. When the variations are very small, it may be appear that the items are identical, but the precision instruments will show the differences. Four sources of variations. There are four factors of contribute to these variations. They are process, material, operators, miscellaneous factors. The source of the miscellaneous variations include the environmental factors such as heat, light, and the radiations and humidity. The assignable of variations, the chances, causes of variations. It is the process of stable or in control. What is the extent of the process variability? The assignable causes of variations. The assignable causes of variations are larger in magnitude and can be easily treated and detected. The difference among the machines, the difference among the machines, or the differences, processes, and difference of each factor of the over time, the relationship to the one another, the distinction of the curve variations, when only the chance to causes or present in the process considered to the stable in statistical control. In control, in the assignable variations also present. The variation of the excessive process is classified and unstable, but out of statistical control and out of control. If only the common cause of the variations are present, the output from the process forms the distribution that is stable for the over time. Therefore, the process is predictable as shown. On the contrary, if the special causes or variations present in the process, the output is not stable over time, and therefore the process is not predictable. The major objective of the statistical process control is quite quickly detected the occurrence of assignable causes of process the shifts, so that the investigation of the process and corrective action may be undertaken before many non-conforming units are manufactured. Control charts is an online processing of monitoring technically widely for this purpose. Why do the management is stable process? The management knows the process capability and can be predict the performance in the cost quality levels. The productivity will be at the maximum and cost will be minimized. The management will be able to measure the effects of changes in its systems with greater speed and reliability. If the management alter the specification limits, it will have the data backup for its decision. Control chart. What is the control chart? The control chart is the variation of this data. It is the tool distinguishing between the assignable cause of the variations in the process. The control chart is used to check whether the process is controlled statistically or not. The control charts means the possible diagnosis and correction of the many production troubles, and with the help of the control charts we can find the natural capability of the production process. The control chart is used to evaluate the process stability and decide when to adjust the process. Types of control charts. The control charts is for the variables and control charts for the attributes. Analyze the patterns of the charts. The main objective of the control charts is to determine when the process is out of control so that necessary actions may be taken. Certain other than the plotted point of the falling outside the control limits also used to determine when the process is to be out of control. The plot of the patterns often indicate the process of the control or not. Analyzing the plot patterns is more difficult than the plotting the control charts. The need for the control charts and attributes through the variables of the X bar and R bar charts. The powerful tools is to diagnose the quality problems. They do certain limitations of X bar and R charts are follows. X bar and R charts cannot be used for the quality characteristics that are attributes. For example, the quality of the characteristics such as incorrect color of the blowholes and cracks and are not measurable. A variable control chart is not applicable. The X bar and R charts can be used only one for the measurable characteristics at a time. For example, automatic turning maybe have the 50 dimensions, therefore 50 X bar and R charts will be required. This is the method is too expensive, time consuming. Attributes. What is meant by attributes? And attributes refer the quality characteristics of the conformed specifications. Types of attributes and where the measurement are not possible. For example, visually suspected items such as color and missing parts and scratches and damages. The attributes where measures can be made but are not made because of economy of time, cost or need. In common practice, instead of using the measuring instrument, the micrometer, vernier qualifier, we use no-go and no-go gauges used to confirm the good or bad, the non-conformity versus the non-conforming items. An item is said to be the non-conforming items. It falls so conform the specification in any characteristics. Each characteristics does not the specification is a non-conformity defect, and non-conformity refers the quality of the characteristics. Since an item may have the many quality characteristics, it may be have many non-conformities. Non-conforming refers the entire items. Thus, and non-conforming item may be the non-conformities. Example: if the casting contains the odd spots and blowholes, the casting non-conforming item is defective and the odd spots, the blowholes, etc., the non-conformity is defects. A paint of the bubble, the newly manufactured car may be the non-conformity, yet the car is shipped as the conforming. The control charts, the attributes. P charts is the function of non-conforming specification. NP chart is the control of for the number of non-conforming items. C charts, control charts of the non-conformities. U chart, the control charts for the number of non-conformities per unit. The P chart is quality characteristics. Interest is the proportion of For non-conforming or defective units, the fraction defectives may be the articles of the actually inspected, and generally the fraction is defective expressed in decimal fractions. Then the purpose of p-chart is discover the identity of the correct causes and odd quality, to discover the identity and correct the erratic causes of the quality improvement, discover the average proportions to effective articles submitted for the inspection over the period of time, the suggest of the necessary X bar and odd charts, is diagonal the quality means NP charts. The P and NP charts are quite same. Whenever the sub size is variable, the P chart is used. If the sub size is constant, then the NP chart is used. When and why the NP chart is preferred over the P chart? When the subgroup of the size is a constant, the NP is preferred over the P charts. The reason of the NP chart is it saves one calculations of each subgroups of the division, reject the subgroups and size to get the P charts. C chart. In the C chart, the number of defects of the sample are plotted over a time. Then the C chart is applies the number of the defects in the subgroups of the constant size. The P chart and the NP chart is the fraction of defective of the product, whereas the control charts number of the products. In other words, control the charts defects control the C charts. The situation of the C charts is used the number of the typological errors in the printed page and the number of defective rivets in the automobile body and the number of rust spots on a steel sheets, number of defects and cracks. Then Six Sigma is the process. What is that Six Sigma? Six Sigma is the standard deviation. From mean used to represent the standard deviation. The Six Sigma is similar to zero defect, the psychological benchmark and excellence proposed in the Philip Crosby. The Six Sigma is the methodology, provide the techniques and tools to improve the capability of reduce the defects in the process. The Six Sigma were started the Motorola in 1987 and in manufacturing divisions, and General Electric and Enterprise in 1995 is the products. Six Sigma strive the predictions of the 3 to 4 million opportunities. Six Sigma improve the performance of decrease the variations and maintain the consistent quality of the process output. This leads to detect the reduction and improvements in the profits and the product quality and the customer satisfaction. The Six Sigma incorporates the basic principles and techniques used in the business of the statistics in engineering. The objective of the Six Sigma is achieve the zero defect products process, and the definition of the Six Sigma is defined as GE as a vision of the quads only the 3 to 4 defects in the million opportunities of each product. Six Sigma is a systematic process of the product improvement and for measuring the performance of the variations metric, evaluating the performance and quality of the standards excellence. Why do we need Six Sigma? The Six Sigma is the control of plus or minus 3 sigma, and limit of the Six Sigma limit, and the part going outside the control limit plus or minus 3 sigma is 27 parts. What are the points of the Six Sigma? The Six Sigma is define, measure and analysis, improve and control. That is, define, identify the core activities and the quality tools, identify the project and the champion of the project owner, determine the customer requirements and the critical qualities, define the problems, objectives, goals and benefits, map the process and develop the project plan, and define the quality tools, the project charter and plan, effort of the impact analysis, the process mapping and tree diagram, determine the project of the criticals and determine the operational definitions, and establish the performance of the standards and develop the collection and sampling, to validate the measurement and the measurement system analysis, determine the capability of the baseline, the measure of the quality tools, the quality function deployment and the measuring system analysis, check sheet process capability analysis. Once the project is understood, if it is necessary to analyze the process of applying statistical tools, analyze the activities, the benchmark process of the product, establish the causal relationship using the data, analysis the process map, determine the root causes, analyze the quality tools and the statistical analysis data, cause and effect of the event diagram, histogram, Pareto diagram, run shot, scatter graph. Improve. The improvement is the step of the problem to determining the creative solutions. Improve activities is develop the solution of the alternatives, assess the risk of the benefits of solution of alternatives, validate the solution of using the pilot, implement the solution, determine the solutions and improve the quality tools, design of experiment, brainstorming and failure mode analysis, control activities, determine the needs of control, implement the validate control, develop the transfer plan, realize the benefits of implementing solutions, close the projects and communicate the results, control the quality tools, statistical process control, out of control, design changes of eliminates the defect, define the determine the benchmarks and set the baseline, determine the customer requirements, get the customer commitments, map the process flow, measure, develop the product defect of the measurement, develop the data collection process, collect the data, create the forms, compile and display the data, analysis, verify the data, draw the conclusion from the data, test the conclusions and determine the improvement opportunity, determine the causes and map the causes and defect, improve, create the improvement of the ideas, create the models, create the experiment and create the set goals and create the problems of statements and create the solution of the treatment and implement and improvement methods, control, monitoring the improvement process and measure the improvement statistically, assess the effectiveness, mark needed for the adjustment. Six Sigma organization, it is a beautiful and involvement of the participation of all employees as well the top management of the organizations are crucial. The quality council affects council it the affects of the CEO, is the managing director, then affects control the periodically the reviews of the Six Sigma activities, including the projects identification and the performance of the perfect teams, the effectiveness, the solution of the implementation, the sponsor. The sponsor is the project of the progress day-to-day basis, ensures the implementation, improvement of the suggestion. The champions is a senior executive and vice presidents with the significant overall business responsibility. He provides the vision and the business decisions. He may not be a part of any specific project, but he is available for the expert help. Master black belts. The master black belts is a exert is a Sigma techniques and applications. He plays the key role training and coaching the black belts. The black belts is the process of improvement of the team who trained and certified the Sigma methodology and tools. He is responsible for only the project execution. The green belts of the belts don't have the full time. They are the project or the process manager, process owners. They execute Six Sigma in the part of the tools. Normal job. The team members are further installed in the Sigma project. They use the day-to-day work on the green belt. The advantages of the Six Sigma, then the improve the customer satisfaction, ensure the products and services in the meeting, the customer requirement, improve the quality efficiency of the product sold, reduction of the waste in the and the defects, the variations of the reductions, the financial saving through the cost reductions, well defined role of the possibilities, and empowering all the employees, commonized language of training material, tool and the software, standardized methodology. Quality circle. What is that quality circle? That quality circle is the quality control. This voluntary group of the employees or supervisors compromising the team, 6 to 10 members within the same during the similar work. In other words, the quality circle is a small group of the people to meet together for the regular basis and to identify, analyze and solve the quality, the cost of reduction of any other problems in their work area, the leading improvement in the total performance and enrichment of their work life. The quality circle is participate management and the workers make the suggestion and improvement for the betterment of the company. Other names of quality circle: small group of the actions and excellence circles, human resources circles, and productivity circles. The history of the quality circles is established in 1962. The movement of the quality circles is Japanese Indian scientists, engineers. The use of the quality circle is spread behind Japan, and the quality circles have been implemented even in the educational sectors. The quality circles is the concept of the quality circles is the participation of the management, human resource development technique, and quality circle problem solving techniques. The quality circle to promote the job involvement, to create the problem solving capability, to improve the communication, to promote the leadership of qualities, to promote the personal development, to develop the greater awareness of the cleanness, to develop the greater awareness of safety, to improve the more, and although the closer employee and objective with the organization objectives, to reduce the errors, to enhance the entry, to inspire the more entire teamwork, to build the attitude of the problems prevention, to promote the cost reduction, to develop the harmonious managers and supervisors and work relationship, to improve the productivity, to reduce the downtime and machines and equipments, to increase the employee motivation. Some of the important characteristics of the circles are optimum number of the employees in any quality circle between the 6 to 10. The quality circle should be have the homogeneous group where the participation members must be from with the same department of the work area. The participation of the quality circle members should be voluntary, no compulsion or pressure to broad the employee join not the quality circles. The members of the quality circle should be meet regularly once in a week for an hour after their working hour. During the working hour, discuss the problems related to their work and the solutions. The number of the quality circles should themselves to identify the problems through the various techniques, brainstorming and cause and effect diagram, Pareto analysis and histograms, etc. The quality circle is the two types of problems, those concern the personal and well defined of the workers, the working conditions and safety and work relations and housekeeping, etc. Those work on the well-being company, the cost of the quality and productivity return related to the problems. The member of the quality circle should be trained with the statistical and other problem solving so that it can be identified and an analysis to resolve the work related problems. The training and quality and control the activities must be carried out on the company time. The recommendation, the structure of the quality circles, the top management and the steering committee, facilitator and leader and members and non-members. The top management is directly formal of the quality circle structure. The top level management influences our successful implementation of the concept. The quality circles is collect the information about the program and the programs reports into the managing director. The top management has convey the policy of the quality to employees, encourage them to form the quality circles. It should be extended it support and more importantly make it possible so that even the workers at the lowest level know the top management is doing for them. It should be the lenient enough of the financially support of the quality circle projects. Coordinator, the coordinator is the manager. He arranges the steering committee of meeting, is responsible for the proper documentation of the various activities. He organizes the training programs and wherever is needed. Overall is responsible for conducting the seminars, presentation, the case studies and publishing the periodical to certain work for the quality circle is to be organized. The steering committee is a group of the members working under the chairmanship of the CEO. The members of steering committee are responsible for proper implementation of the quality circle in their respective areas. They make the facilitators under the accountable to them. CEO's members to make the suggestion. Facilitator, the senior persons of the specific area act as the facilitator. He bears the responsibility of the catalyzer to motivate the quality circles. He acts the guide or monitor, mentor of the operations of the quality circles. Further, he also the functioning of the quality circles in this area, steering the committee meetings. Leader, the members of the circles, the close choose the leaders during the care. As the leader shapes the circles of effectiveness, good leaders should have the ability to motivate the members of the team to conduct the meetings and coordinate the effects of the members in the quality philosophy. The members of the circle should not be forced to join the quality circle. Instead of, they should be join their own interest. They need to have understanding the functioning of the quality circle. They should be encourage the other employees to participate the movement of the seriously and themselves. The quality improvements programs implement the solutions of the presentation effectively. The non-members are important because they support the circle members externally, and so if they realize the benefits of forming the circles, they willingly participate in the activities. Hence, the non-members are often considered the prospective members. The role of the responsibility, the role of the quality circle members attend all possible meetings, often views the opinions or ideas and freely, voluntarily, and in the problems of solving, participate in the group process, and contribute to find solutions of the problems, contributing implementing the solutions, attend training seriously, the respective attitudes, and assist the leader and deputy leaders in the circle's activities. Thank you. We will see in next video.